Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie, and today we're going to work with the Here Comes the Sun collection by Bargain Bead Box. And I've got these beautiful Pink Aventurine beads. So I wanted to make a strand for myself. And I thought these would be perfect because I love these coppery colors. So it did come with gold accent beads in this kit, but I'm more of a copper person, so that's what I'm going to use because I think it'll go nicely with these beads. I've got some crimp beads here. I've got some jump rings here, a couple of crimp beads. They'll be covered up, so they don't have to match. And so we're going to start and make this necklace. Now, I don't know how long it's going to be, so I'm just going to play it by ear. I'm also going to keep it simple, but I think it'll make a nice accent. And, you know, it's a good idea starter for you, no matter what color accent beads you use. So we're going to get started. Alright, so I cut a long length of wire. What I don't use, I'll just roll back on the spool and, you know, use it for something else. I just don't know how long my project will be yet. So, I've got my wire cutters, I've got my pliers, and my crimp tool. I don't know if I'll use that or not. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is put my crimp bead on my wire. And I'll zoom in on this for those who can't see it. Okay, and then got my wire guard here. That's what it's called. And I'm going to carefully go up one end and down the other. So it's got a little tube right here, and the wire just kind of goes through that. Then I'm going to pull that up like that. Going to put my crimp bead on. Okay, I'm going to move the crimp bead up, and then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm just going to kind of squeeze this together. I want it already together, so it'll be a little bit easier. Okay, and in the end, I'm going to attach my jump rings to this. So I'm going to leave just a little bit of space because I've got a crimp bead cover. So I'm going to, just a tiny bit, then I'm going to squeeze that puppy. Okay, I like to use my pliers instead. It's just easier for me. I always have a hard time with the crimp tool. There you go. So just enough space to fit the crimp cover over, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. So next, since I'm keeping this necklace simple, I'm just going to start with this side, and I'm going to start with a big bead and add a copper bead. Sometimes it's not always easy to see, so I gotta bring my magnifying glass down. Yeah, I'm old. I gotta do it. But nothing like a lighted magnifying glass. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep putting my beads on. You know, one stone, one copper bead. Just because it's so pretty. I just love fall colors, and I think copper with orange makes a nice harmonious color arrangement. especially, you know, with the variegating colors. Okay, so on the next color. So what I got in my pack is I got like 8 dark and then 4 of these, 4 of those, and 4 of these. So it was easy to sort. I think I had a couple of extra, but I can use those for earrings too. So these beads are so pretty. And they're nice and cool to the touch. So I'll just keep going. And of course, I got the copper beads at your sister's store, Bead Box Bargains. And I can leave a link down below. You know, they have a subscription box every month. And it's like $24.99 a month, which is a phenomenal price. And you always get really beautiful beads. And you can check out my unboxing videos and kind of see, you know, what I've been offered every month. I know it's always a good day when you see that my item has arrived, and I run down to the mailbox and I can't wait to open my beads to see what I've got. It's always exciting. All right, so basically what I'm doing here is just making sure that my beads fit over the end of that wire just so it doesn't poke out. I'll adjust more, you know, when I get to the end of the necklace. So personally, I like long necklaces. I just think they're very comfortable to wear. They kind of make a statement piece. And they don't have to be super fancy. Like, you know, you don't have to have charms all in them and pendants and all that if you don't want to. Of course, nothing wrong with pendants. They're beautiful too. But for my style, I kind of like pretty minimalist, but chunky. I do like chunky. So something that makes a little bit of a statement. That way you can wear a boring black shirt and, you know, make it pop. So I'm just carrying on here. Okay, and then every so often I'm just going to bring my beads down to the end. So you can see it's starting to come into shape here. So what color metal do you like best? My favorite is copper and silver and bronze, of course. But so I pretty much like the antique colors. But what do you like? Let me know in the comments down below. It'd be interesting to see what you guys like and what your favorite bead boxes are so far. And if you want to order a bead box, I'll leave the link down below that you could click on to order your bead box subscription. It's so worth it. And then you know, when you order the bead box and you get the subscription, you always get a coupon for 30% off for a month. And so every month you get a coupon for 30% off, and you can use it over and over again. So you really, really save when, you know, buying extra supplies and, you know, crimp covers and findings and other stone beads and crystal beads. I mean, if you look at the site, you know, and you'll get a link there, but if you look at the site, you're going to find all kind of things that you need. Okay, sometimes I have to turn the beads a little bit. I'm just going to keep going and talking just to do the video. So this is turning out really pretty. More than likely, the copper beads are going to end up tarnishing at some point, which is okay. It'll add charm, or you can clean it with soap and water every now and then. It's not going to hurt anything. It says real stone after all. So beforehand, I just lined everything up just so, you know, I can just easily pick up beads. I tried doing a video with my bead board a few days ago, and my camera didn't have a wide enough zoom, so half of the project didn't show up. It was a little frustrating, but, you know, my bead mat has always been there for me. I love this bead mat. I got these extra mats, you know, to put on top of it, just because, you know, with this kind of bead mat, they tend to flock, you know, or come up, which is okay, you know, it's just some kind of flocking on plastic, but the bead mat itself, they hold up pretty well. So I don't have a specific link for these, but you can find them on Amazon all day long. Just type in bead mat. And it's good to have these fluffy ones. I've tried felt before, but they tend to catch. It didn't work. But, you know, just using a good size bead mat. Like this one's probably maybe 12 by 15 or so. Something like that. And so it's big enough for all my projects and my tools, and helps my beads to not roll off the bead board. Do you have carpet in your bead room? I do, and you know, if I drop beads, they seem to get lost forever. Even if I vacuum, I can't find them. I can hear them sometimes, but it's hard to find them. Is what it is, but that's why a good bead mat's important. So, you know, they usually roll off to the edges. Of course, they do fall off sometimes, but generally it definitely helps. Alright, so we're getting close to the end here. This is why I'm keeping it simple. And this technique is actually really good if you don't know how long the necklace would be. Or if you're changing your mind, you know, you can always take the beads off if you change your mind and just do it again. Because we only, you know, secured one end so far, so. And then, when you get done putting the necklace the way you like it, if it's too short, you can always add chain to the end of it, you know, just by using a jump ring here. And that way you can lengthen it, you know, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, or, you know, if you run out of beads, you're short on beads. It helps. That's a good way to extend it. Which, if you watch my videos, you know I like doing that. It's cost effective too, so you know, if you're making beads to sell, necklaces, and you know, you're kind of limited on budget and how many beads you have, chain is always a good option. So I'm getting close to done. I'm on the last light color here. Always hoping my camera doesn't shut off on me. That happens sometimes. I think we're good. Okay, so I'm going to end with the stone bead. And what I normally do next is I'm going to let it go down, but I'm going to coil it before I put on my crimp bead. The reason I do this is because if you try to do it when it's straight, it can cause the necklace to be too tight and then it won't have any movement. Whereas if you coil it, it just adds just enough space to work with, you know, and make the necklace pretty pliable. Alright, so I'm going to add my crimp bead. I know I cut off way more than I needed, but that's okay. So I'm just putting on the wire guard. Then I'm going to run my wire down through the beads. Maybe an inch or two just to make sure everything's covered. So I'm just actually going to go up this way and then I'm going to pull it down. So I think that's good right there. Okay, so I'm going to hold the wire guard just like that, making sure that the wire goes around it properly. Okay, I think that's good. Loosen it up just a hair, just to make sure that I have enough room to put the crimp cover on. And time to squeeze. Okay. Alright, I think that's good. Okay, and of course I made my wire a little bit loose right there, but that's okay. It can be corrected by the crimp cover, as long as it's not too loose. So I'm going to trim it here. Okay, I got plenty of wire to work with later to make a bracelet or another necklace if I have enough. Okay. So I think this is about 18, 19 inches roughly, which is good. Okay, so now I've got the crimp covers, and this is a challenge for me sometimes, but I'm going to get my bigger crimp pliers here, just like that. And what I normally do is you got to put it on the front part that goes around like that, okay, facing forward, and then I'm going to put it around my crimp bead and gently squeeze. Okay, just like so. Now, you want to make sure that all your wire's in there, so I'd kind of turn it and just, turn and squeeze, turn and squeeze. Just a slight bit. You don't want to crush it because they can crush easily, but you do want to make sure that everything goes inside. And did I forget something? Of course I did. I meant to squeeze this together, so I'm just going to use these. Perfect. Okay. And then, now this is real time here, so I'm going to push that wire in so I can close it further because I don't want it to stick out. So, and you don't squeeze hard, you know. You can't squeeze hard, but I am trying to get that inside. So, and then I'm at the seam, I'm going to kind of bring it in a little bit so my wire doesn't come out. Okay, so I'm good with that. So see, when you do that, your necklace hangs nicely when it's not too tight. So I think that's quite pretty. Okay, so I'm going to put the crimp cover on the other end. And so you want it to face outward so you can get it in and cover crimp bead. So I'm just doing it that way and squeezing a little bit here and there. Sometimes, you can tell that it buckles a little bit at the opening. So you just gently turn like this and squeeze it shut. You just kind of move the crimpers a little bit to get it where you want it. I think that's nice and even. I like to take my finger and feel it too, just to make sure that there's no rough edges. Okay. Okay. And so I tried on the necklace, and it's not quite long enough for me, so I found some really cute chain here that I want to add to it. So that's what we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is just going to take my jump ring off here. And I'm going to take this one off. Get in there. Okay. Now I'm also going to grab a couple more jump rings to put on here, and I'm also going to put these away, get them out of the way. Okay, so the necklace itself, it fits, but it's a little tight. And I like my necklaces fairly long. So I'm going to add about, I'd say, maybe 5 inches of chain. And I've got this cute Rollo chain that I really like. So I want to add that. So what I'm going to do is put this around my neck, get an idea of where I want it to start and end. And then I'm going to trim the link that I don't need. Okay. Then I'm going to fold it in half. You can make sure it's half. Okay, that's perfect. And I'm going to trim whatever this center bead right here is good. Okay. And I've got 2 links of chain. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit darker because it's not really going to show anyway. You know, if I were selling it, of course, I'd have to match it all up, but being it's for me, I don't care. Okay. So I'm going to pull these 2 together. Alright, make sure this is smooth on the top and smooth on the sides. I don't want it to, you don't want it to catch your clothing, so sometimes you have to adjust a little bit and feel for it, which that is fine. Okay, and then I'm going to add the other jump ring and the clasp. Squeeze it together. Feel it. So that one went pretty easily. Okay. Then I'm going to do the other side. And put my jump ring on the other end. It's going to be a nice long necklace. I like that idea. I think this chain's really cute too. It's sturdy, but not too overbearing. Sometimes big chains are fun, but they can twist up a lot easier. Okay. Trying it on. Bear with me. Okay, perfect length. All right, and there you have it. So I've got a simple stone and chain necklace, little copper accents, and it's gorgeous. All right, well, you guys stay tuned because there's going to be more. Have a great day. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your comments down below. May creativity be your guide.